there's a wizard. You can bring the wizard to life with your voice. You could be any age. And I thought I was really cooking until my daughter, at maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 years old, said, Dad, could you just be you? And then I realized, I said, yeah. There's moments when you don't want to confuse a little one with all these different sounds and whatnot, because it's all real. But other ways to use my voice, well, I'm a stage actor. I started out doing theater, and that's still my first love.
You were also a bill collector.
What, my dear?
You were a bill collector?
Excuse me, there's someone in the peanut gallery who would like to help me out.
You said you were also a bill collector.
Oh, thank you. They'll be really happy to hear that. My daughters reminded me that the first job I had when I got out of the military, I worked as a telephone bill collector. I would be the person who would call and say, "You've got to pay your bill." And actually, it was pretty funny because I didn't fit in with the typical type of bill collectors. I didn't take any of it seriously. I would be on the phone with someone. I would talk to someone with 3 different characters. The first time I would call them, these would be people who had college loans who hadn't paid and skipped town, or guys who there were some people who were deadbeats, back then. The first time I'd call, I'd say, Mr. Smith, you have an outstanding balance. Just wanted to know if you can make arrangements to make payments or pay the bill. And if they said yes, I'd say, okay, all right, good, fine. Actually, that's not true. I was not a nice guy. I was trying to make myself sound good. The first voice was Mike Elliott, and he would call and say, Mr. Smith, you understand you owe $250 to the First National Bank. Are you going to pay it or not? And they would say, well, I don't know, well. Are you going to pay it or not? Well, you don't understand. I don't want to hear your sob stories. Are you going to pay it or not? Get a pencil and paper. And if they said yes, fine, I'd give them it. And if they said, I don't know, I'd say thank you. And I'd hang up. I'd never say goodbye. Second time I'd call, then I'd be a nice guy. I'd be hi, your bill. God, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. It's all your fault. Everyone's going to hate me. So the second time I would call, I'd be a nice guy. I'd say, I understand you haven't paid the bill. We'd like to make arrangements. Can you do that? And they'd say, oh, I'm glad you called me, because that last guy, he swore at me. He called me names. And I'm not kidding. He threatened my family. And I said, well, hold on a second. I'll be right back. And we get back on the phone as the first guy. He'd say, all right, I hear you're telling lies about me. What's the story? So I would do that. And then the third time I would call, if they still hadn't paid, I would be Mr. Boyd Sutton from the legal department. I could never say I was a lawyer, so I would never lie. But Mr. Boyd Sutton, the initials are BS. And I'd call back and say, Hattie, my name is Boyd Sutton, and your papers have been handed over to me to handle with the legal department, and we'd like to make arrangements before we have to go any further. So they would have different chances on it. So I did use all that sort of stuff. I didn't do it for long, honest. But that was the job I had out of the military. From then I started doing improv theater work, making $100 a week, and I was happy to have it. And then one thing led to another, to another. So that's a long-winded answer to your question. So I did. Thank you, McKenna.
Just wondering, obviously you've done Ben 10 and Transformers, which are both incredibly popular, but did you ever go into Ben 10 thinking, this is a lot like Transformers in some ways, because obviously the main character does change into different things. Did you ever think it was like a big comparison, or were the Man of Action group of people, were they big fans of Transformers and just thought they'd do their own version?
I'm not sure. I did obviously see similarities, but I didn't think about Man of Action guys. if they had been fans of the Transformers. They're great guys, and I'm awed by what they've created and what they can do. But of course, I see similarities. But the cool thing about Ben 10 is that, again, anything is possible. Anything can happen in Ben 10. There's a reality, and then they can change the realities, and they can create more aliens. At first, when we first started doing Ben 10, it was Ben 10. There were 10 aliens he could turn into. And I think rather quickly they realized that, number one, for marketing, cool, they can just keep creating new aliens and selling the toys. So, from the business side, that was cool. But also from the animation, and we have now Derek Wyatt. He's drawing all the new aliens. With that, you can keep bringing in new characters, and if a character hits and feels good, they can recur again and again. So it's endless possibilities, all I got to say is I love doing Ben 10. And Ben 10 is bigger, I think, in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, on this side of the Atlantic. I think it's even bigger than it is in the States. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know if people have said, but I personally think that you look like Grandpa Max from Ben 10. And I must admit, he's one of my favourite characters. And I just want to know how you feel about playing Grandpa Max.
Grandpa Max? Grandpa Max is the kind of man I want to be. Truly. He's, I don't want to get all cornball, but Grandpa Max for me is it. He's, number one, loving, wants to protect those around him, is knowledgeable, he can kick. Oh, you guys. They made that, I was in Australia, and they asked me, they said, if we make you a Grandpa, the cosplay people said, if we make you a Grandpa Max shirt, would you wear it? And I said, do you think the kids will like it? And they said, yeah, of course I'll wear it. So I got good props for cosplaying my own character. He's powerful, he's tough, he kicks butt, and he wants to allow Ben to become his own person. The cool thing about Omniverse, instead of him constantly saying, no, Ben, don't do this, don't that, do that, now they work more as more as a team. Yeah. So Grandpa Max is a guy that I would, I aspire to be, especially 6'2". I aspire to be. I don't think I'll make that part. Oh, I have the shirt. Yeah, I should have brought it with me, but I didn't. Yeah, I've got that shirt.
Okay, we've got a question, maybe.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm good.
You've probably been asked this a lot a couple of times. I'm not sure if this has been asked because I haven't been here for the whole Q&A. Now, the 86 film with Perceptor announcing that Optimus's wounds are fatal. How do you think Perceptor would have sounded if he was more like Colonel Campbell from Metal Gear?
Oh man. Campbell. Well, he would have said, Optimus. Optimus! Optimus! I'm afraid the wounds are fatal. I could have said fly. I probably would have said it.
So, quick question then. Can you tell us a little bit about the audition process that you had for Transformers back in what probably would have been 84, 85?
84, 85, yeah. The audition, as I recall, now hopefully, this isn't what I want to remember. What I recall, that was a long time ago, Case. What I recall about the audition was we had a picture, showed us what it looked like, and they said they